Hello everybody, and welcome to the first game of Imperial Knights Renegade. As you can see, I actually got one of the knights painted up there, and you can see it sort of in contrast to a Dreamforged knight. The size difference is quite remarkable actually, so playing one of these Dreamforged knights in a game of Warhammer 40k makes it pretty easy for line of sight purposes, so there's a bit of a disadvantage there, but they're fun. Anyways, we're going to be playing the first mission out of Imperial Knights Renegade. I'll go over the rules. So our purple knight over here is going to play the role of the Renegade Knight, Litany of Destruction, while our orange knight over here is going to be the Ever Stalwart. Of course, they're kitted out with Reaper chainswords, and then this one will have a thermal cannon, and this one will have the Gatling cannon. Okay, so for mission 1, we are going to be playing Search and Rescue. This is again just found in the rulebook. There's 3 missions that you can choose from. We're going to go with the first one here. So the idea behind this one is that we are going to set up on a 48 by 48 inch board, and the idea is that the Ever Stalwart Imperial Knight is going to need to get next to 2 ruins and scan them, and to do that he has to get within 1 inch. In this case, instead of ruins, we're just going to use these 2 little turrets here as the objective markers. You can see here from the mission that they show you exactly where to place the I guess in this case turrets, as well as the knights, and how to kind of set them up and how far away they need to be from each other. The Litany of Destruction Knight, his objective is to destroy the Ever Stalwart before he scans both ruins. So pretty simple setup. We'll go ahead and take a look at the board. So you can get a good look at the board here. We've got our Renegade Knight back here. He's guarding both the turret objectives, and then the Ever Stalwart, he's been set up. They're about 28 inches apart. Of course, the board I'm playing on is 6 foot by 4 foot, but I'm just using these 4 tiles, which makes it a nice 48 by 48 inch board. So we'll go ahead and move to turn 1. So now to start the game, we're going to move to the planning phase. Of course, this is where each knight gets 3 action points to spend, and then we'll check out sort of the initiative on what those actions are, and then go to the execution phase. So we're at turn 1 here, and both knights have planned their actions. We have the Ever Stalwart. He planned to advance, to rotate his ion shields, and then to run. And the Renegade over here, he was going to advance and then perform a standard attack, both of them using all of their 3 action points. Now, because both of them want to advance, that is initiative 1, we're going to have to roll off to see who actually gets to run first. To see who advance, we're going to go ahead and roll off here. The Ever Stalwart gets a 1, and the Renegade Knight gets a 6. So the Renegade Knight is going to run first, and then the Ever Stalwart, he'll get to run. So both our knights have ran. They get to move 9 inches. The Renegade Knight looks like he went over to block that objective back there. Ever Stalwart, though, headed still towards this one right back here. We're going to move on to the next action, and that is the Ever Stalwart rotates his ion shields. That's just going to allow him to have a better save if the Renegade Knight shoots at him this turn. The next action will actually be for the Renegade Knight, which is a standard attack. And he's got his thermal cannon over there, which is 20 inches. He should be within range, but this guy is going to get a bonus for both getting cover as well as rotating his ion shields. So the Knight Renegade is targeting the Ever Stalwart here, and I put a little die there. You can see where he's going to target the mid section just to be safe. Of course, we have to reference this table here because it's a standard attack. We're going to roll 2 die and then see how far that scatters off the mid section of the Imperial Knight's Ever Stalwart. So we'll roll the 2 die here. We got a 5 and a blue 4. So we reference this table here, and we can see that a standard attack, it's going to go to the right one, and then we go to the blue one here vertically, and a 4 is on target. So we're just going to the right one. So referencing this table again here. So if we go to the right just 1, you're actually going to see it's a gap. And so looks like the Renegade Knight actually misses with that shot. Pretty remarkable. So we're going to move on to the next phase, which is the Ever Stalwart was going to run. So we're going to roll 2d6 and let him run. So at the end of turn 1 here, we can see the Ever Stalwart, he did his final move, which was a run. He actually ended up getting, I think, about 9 more inches, putting him real close to that next objective there. So it's going to be real tight for this Renegade Knight to try to kill this Ever Stalwart before he's able to make it over there. Might be able to lock him up in combat though. So we're going to move to turn 2. We're going to go to the planning phase. So we're now in the turn 2 planning phase, and we've revealed what actions are going to be taken. The Ever Stalwart here is going to advance, snap attack, and rotate ion shields for 3 action points. And the Renegade Knight's going to do the same as he did last turn, which is he's going to advance, and then he's going to perform a standard attack, so it's a little bit more accurate. So the snap attack actually comes first, so we're going to move here to the Ever Stalwart, and he is going to fire his Avenger Gatling Cannon at the Renegade Knight there. Okay, so the Avenger Gatling Cannon is going to take a shot at the Renegade Knight, and it's going to actually take a shot at the lower carapace part of the Knight, and that's because we're doing a snapshot, which is, as you can see here, the snap attack is just wild. It's going to move no matter what, and so we're going to take a risk here, put it there so that when it deviates, it has a good chance of actually landing on something that will do damage to the Renegade Knight. So we'll roll for it, see where it goes. So we got a 5 and a 3, so 5 for the horizontal action. It's going to move twice to the right. So if we move it twice to the right, we're still just on the shoulder there. And then a 3 for vertical is going to be, moves up 1, which is just off the Knight there, unfortunately. So we got some pretty poor shooting here. Someone's going to get hit eventually. We'll move on now to what's going to be an advance for both Knights. Now again, since both Knights are advancing, we'll roll a die to see who actually takes initiative first. The Ever Stalwart gets a 2, and the Renegade Knight gets a 3. So the Renegade Knight again gets to go first. So the Renegade Knight advanced up 9 inches and is now within the 10-inch range for the thermal cannon, so it's going to be a bit more powerful. And the Ever Stalwart, he also moved over and was able to get within 1 inch of that objective, so has taken that one over, but still needs to go over and get that one. But it looks like the Renegade Knight's going to come up and try to block him from that. So we're going to move over to the next initiative, which is actually to rotate ion shields for the Ever Stalwart, so he'll do that to get a little bit of a bonus on the shooting attack. And then lastly, again, we're going to move to the standard attack that the Renegade Knight's going to perform. So the Renegade Knight's also going to target the carapace part there. The standard attack is a little bit more accurate, but it might deviate just a bit, so there's a good chance that he'll get a hit here. So we're going to roll 2 dice and then consult that table there. So we got a 2 for horizontal, and that is going to be just 1 to the left. So we're on the shoulder again. And then a 5 for vertical, which is going to be 1 down. So it looks like we're getting the shield there, which is going to be the... So we've hit the tilting shield, and as you can see, there's 4 little circles there. So now that we know that we have a hit, we're going to have the Ever Stalwart take his save if he can. Of course, this is negative 2 AP because of the thermal cannons within 10 inches. So I'm not sure if he still has a save. Knights typically have a 5-up save. Because he rotated his ion shields, it's a 4. So he still might get, I think, a 6-up save. So the Ever Stalwart for a 6-up save against that thermal cannon shot gets a 2. That's not going to save the shot. So since the Renegade Knight has successfully hit the Ever Stalwart, he will do D6 wounds to the Ever Stalwart. And of course, we only need to get 3 to produce critical damage in that area. So here we go. He gets a 4, so that's going to go ahead and remove that area, and it will now make it so that the Ever Stalwart cannot rotate his ion shields. So now that we're at the end of turn 2, we have scored 1 objective with the Ever Stalwart, and the Renegade Knight was successfully able to produce 1 critical damage on the other Knight here, and he can no longer rotate his ion shields. So we'll go to turn 3 into the planning phase. So after revealing the turn 3 planning phase, we're finding that the Ever Stalwart here is planning on doing a snap attack and then advancing and then running, which makes sense because he's trying to get all the way over there as quick as he can and get away from this Renegade Knight. This Renegade Knight is trying to catch the Ever Stalwart, so he plans on advancing and then actually making a charge attempt, which is 2 actions. So that's all of his action points. So we'll see how successful they are. The first thing we're going to do is go to the snap attack of the Ever Stalwart. So the Ever Stalwart's again going to target the carapace there and see as best he can if he can make a hit. So he's going to roll 2d6 He got a 2 for the blue. So we move this 2 up, and dang it, that's off the grid, and so it's scattered off, and it's a miss. So as you can see, it's actually quite difficult to make a snap attack on here. It's kind of like bingo, hitting just the right grid with the, getting those lucky numbers. But anyways, we're going to move to the advance, and again, because they're both advancing, we have to roll off to see who seizes the initiative there. Ever Stalwart gets to roll first, because he's the good guy, of course. He gets a 6 this time. Renegade Knight also gets a 6. We'll have to re-roll. Ever Stalwart again gets a 3. And the Renegade gets a 1, so the Ever Stalwart gets to run first. Alright, so both Knights have advanced, and the Ever Stalwart, he's trying to get around that building, and the Renegade Knight is close behind him. Now, he is within 6 inches. He's actually just a few inches away, so that charge is definitely there. But the Ever Stalwart has chosen to run, and that's 2d6. So this is his chance to flee from the Renegade Knight, and if that's the case, the Renegade Knight's not going to be able to charge him because he'll be outside of that 6 inches. So big roll for the Ever Stalwart here. He's going to see how far he runs. So 2d6 for the run move. Ooh, and then that's a big 9, so he's going to get away from the Renegade Knight. So here at the end of turn 3, the Ever Stalwart, he made that 9-inch run move and is kind of sneaking his way around the building. The Renegade Knight had a charge move, which is 6 inches, and then a melee attack, but he was outside that range to be able to pull that off on the Ever Stalwart. So he went ahead and just moved the 6 inches this way to see if he can, I guess, catch the Ever Stalwart as he makes his way to the last objective there. So now we're going to move to turn 4 planning phase. So on the turn 4 reveal of the planning phase, nothing much has changed here. We have one knight that plans on the Renegade Knight, again wanting to advance and then charge, hoping that he can, I guess, catch the Ever Stalwart as he makes his way around the corner there. And then the Ever Stalwart, he is going to again advance and snapshot as well as run. So we're going to move to his snapshot first. The Renegade Knight should get some cover, a little bit of benefit, but who knows? The Ever Stalwart hasn't even hit him yet, so we'll see if it even matters. Okay, so this time the shot has been placed midsection torso just to see, it's going to be a wild shot, so hopefully it lands somewhere where we can do some damage. So 2 dice, we consult the table here, a 1 and a 6, and so we look at the 1 for a snapshot, and that's going to be 3 over to the left. 1, 2, 3. Of course, wouldn't you know it, our luck, he is off the grid. That is a missed shot. Ever Stalwart rolls to see if he gets to advance first. Gets a 5. The Renegade Knight gets a 4. Ever Stalwart gets to advance. Both knights have advanced, and the Renegade Knight has just stepped right in front of the Ever Stalwart, kind of getting right into his path to the last objective there. I think the Ever Stalwart has a little bit of room that he can move around the backside there. He does get to run move before the Renegade Knight gets to attempt to charge him, but he's going to have to get a big run to get around the back. But it might be enough to get pretty close to that objective to end it on turn 5, so we'll see. So the Ever Stalwart's run move, he gets to go 8 inches. Ever Stalwart was able to move kind of around 8 inches to get behind the Renegade Knight, but that is still within 6 inches, so the Renegade Knight is going to get to charge. So he will just get in base to base there. Now the benefit of this is he's going to hit the Renegade Knight with his chainsword, and there is no scatter, nor is there going to be any save against the chainsword. And just in case you're wondering why there's no save against a melee attack chainsword or Reaper chainsword, it's actually AP2, and the Knight's normal save is a 5-up, so that essentially cuts through his save. And then when you perform a melee attack, it just auto hits. There's no scatter. So what the Renegade Knight is going to do is he's going to look at the Ever Stalwart's grid and then just kind of pick an area. Now the Reaper Chainsword does 3 damage with no scatter, and so he'll just pick an area that probably has 3 wounds and then do critical damage to that area. So looking at the Ever Stalwart's grid, of course, here's an area that the Renegade Knight took out, which is why he can't rotate his ion shields anymore. He's going to choose to take out this section here on the leg, the 8s there. Every time you take out one of these areas, it's -1 to the Knight's movement when they run or charge or anything like that. So he's going to take out this area because it's 3 wounds, and that's going to be 2 critical damage then to the Knight. So we're at turn 5 now, and the Everstalwart has 2 critical damage on him, and he's going to advance, and that's going to put him within 1 inch of the last objective there, which is going to win him the game. But it was actually closer than it looks. The Renegade Knight here was going to charge, which would have allowed him to do 1 more melee action, guaranteeing essentially a critical damage on the Everstalwart, and might have snap attacked as well, which, as you've seen from the game already, is really not reliable at all, as every snap attack is pretty much missed at this point. So we're going to call the game here. It was a really quick game, played really fast. Of course, you're in a sort of close quarters area. The knights move pretty quickly themselves, and the objectives were really simple. Just get within 1 inch of 2 of these objectives. So for the first mission, it was pretty easy to learn, pretty quick to play. I look forward to playing the next 2 and trying it out. I think that there's a lot of creativity that you could put into this game, making your own missions. I think it might also be fun to maybe add some more knights. Of course, I've got 1 more to build, and I have that other Dreamforge one, so we might get 2-on-2 knight action going. Just want to thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. And of course, if you want to see some more Warhammer 40k, Malifaux, tabletop gaming in the future, please hit the subscribe button. See you next time.